William Joseph Blaskowitz, BJ to his friends, is a name iconic to fans of the first-person shooter genre everywhere. He is the epitome of the FPS protagonist, widely considered in fact to be the first true one. A badass who can ruin his foes anywhere he goes, carry a tank load of weaponry, and still hand out an ass kicking even when his intestines are hanging out. You may or may not realise that his legacy goes far beyond that of the Wolfenstein series, and throughout the years and numerous iterations of the id Software properties, the tale of Blaskowitz has become somewhat muddy, contradictory even. However, look deep enough and the story becomes very clear. The story of a man strung out across time, a boy genius, and a god in a suit of power armour.
Hello my honey, hello my rack.
Beyond the shroud of what we know as reality lies an existence of incomprehensible wonders and unfathomable terrors. Worlds without end echoing our own, and others that stand by themselves. The Netherrealm, Argent Denure, the Realm of Chthon, Hell. These would all eventually become known to humanity, but quite possibly the first was Thule. Creating vast works of mechanical genius, the Thule civilization would harvest their own sun to power their contraptions. For a time they would live in a golden era of technology, allowing instant teleportation, manipulation of time, and even travel between dimensions. But it would all soon come to an end when their overworked sun collapsed, becoming a black hole known as the Black Sun. The Black Sun swiftly swept away the Thule race, leaving only fragments of their world still with their technology linked to the Dark Star. The unrestricted power of the sun coupled with the remaining Thule machinery caused cracks to occur between dimensions, leeching this power between realities, leading to what would become known as the Veil on Earth. A few learnt to harness this power to become sorcerers and witches, revered or reviled throughout history. Some used it for the betterment of humanity, whereas others used it for conquest and the oppression of entire nations. From the dawn of man, the Veil had been with us, passively used by those with the knowledge to. That was, of course, until the formation of the Thule Society, a sect of German occultists and later Nazis who aimed to more actively use the power of the Black Sun so that their enemies may be defeated with much more ease. On the 15th of August 1911, a child was born in Milwaukee, Wisconsin to a pair of Polish immigrants who would be named William Blazkowicz. Growing up and joining the US military, the young man who had garnered the nickname BJ rose through the ranks and became a distinguished soldier, becoming an indispensable agent of the Office of Secret Actions, launching covert operations behind enemy lines during World War II. It is during this time that BJ would encounter challenges beyond his reckoning. In 1940, he is sent to Castle Nuremberg to retrieve a Thule artifact Hitler and the Thule Society believe will grant them great powers, the Spear of Destiny. To BJ's amazement, is this all true? And the spear is capable of ripping a hole between realities and into the dimension known as Hell. He eventually defeats a powerful demon, the Angel of Death, and returns to Earth with the spear so that the Nazis can never use it again. However, they have other artifacts, and now Hell is aware of Earth's dimension, and know it is within their grasp. Telling no one the truth of what happened, fearing his superiors would not believe him, BJ continued serving with the OSA behind enemy lines, carrying out missions at and beyond Castle Wolfenstein, presumably through 1941 and 1942, before returning there once again in 1943. It is then he would once more encounter Nazi occultists who possess a Thulean dagger and are attempting to use the power of the Black Sun to resurrect an ancient warlock ruler and an army of the undead. Once more thwarting their plans, the truth about the Nazi goals to tame the occult is accepted by the OSA, and they begin actively sending BJ to stop them. The continued Allied victories, though, make the Nazis desperate, causing them to attempt to access the Thule dimension and harness the power of the Black Sun itself. On one of his missions, BJ captures a Thule medallion, which grants him the great powers harnessed from the Black Sun, allowing him to interact with the Veil. At last, travelling to the Thule dimension to stop the Nazis, BJ destroys the machinery on the other side, cutting Earth off from the power of the Black Sun. Like many dimensions though, Thule stands aside from time, not knowing the concept of a linear existence. As such, the power of the Black Sun is not just cut off from Earth from that point onward, but for all of history, effectively changing time. In one timeline, BJ would go on to be imprisoned within Castle Wolfenstein mere months later, eventually escaping and stopping yet another Nazi plot, utilising Black Sun energy to raise the dead, before hunting down and killing Hitler himself. ending the war. After escaping the Black Sun dimension though, BJ watches the Zeppelin containing the Thule portal crashing into what may very well be Castle Wolfenstein. That timeline is erased, along with the power in the Thule medallion. Tossing the useless artifact, he feels his past change. His memories twist to keep the old but incorporate the new. Even his would-be future becomes clear to him. His wife Julia, his son. None of that would come to be anymore. Was it twisted fate that the last action of the medallion was to shield him from time's flow? He didn't care. There was a future to write and an enemy to defeat. And a new future would be written, but not with magic. For in its stead humanity had risen to the challenge, and societies of great creators produced machinery of baffling complexity. Societies like the Dartia Hood. Of course the power of the Outer Realms cannot be contained forever, and hell still knows about humanity. But when the time came, like there always had been, a Blaskowitz would be there to stand against it.